What is up, Steeler fans, and welcome back to another second half of the Friday podcast. It's time for the All Betz Are Off segment with Jeremy Betz. What's up, Jeremy? How's it going?
It's going good, Jeff. Hey, you got a nickname for me, Jeremy Betz. Now you got one. What's up, Jay Hart? How you doing, my man?
It's funny. My older brother's name is Jay. And
Okay.
so, Jay Hart was like kind of like an ongoing nickname on the baseball team for both my brother and me. So Jay Hart's fine. Like, I'm totally fine with that. That was because of Jeremy's awful recommendation for a nickname for Derek Harmon.
Yeah.
D Harm. It sounds like parm, like you're trying to talk about an Italian dish. I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit, but I think, eventually some of these guys get nicknames, and so I was like, let's get ahead of the curve here and see what people say. But
yeah,
no, it's not that great. It's better than some other ones I've seen, but it's not that great. Andrew Wobar trying to call Scotty Miller Scotty Bugatti was next level stuff there. So
you guys are like neck and neck for the nickname thing. But anyways, I want to get your take on something. This happened on Wednesday. Steelers report to camp. The only thing they do on that day is they do their conditioning test. Now, you rewind the tape a year ago, that was when Russell Wilson famously injured himself and a calf injury pushing a sled. We all know what happened. He misses almost half of that season. But I wanted to ask you that there's been a lot of reports, and I've heard this as well, that the Steelers were not very happy with the strength and conditioning staff last year. There was a rash of soft tissue injuries. You can go back and look it up. They had more than most in terms of the NFL. And already Isaac Seumalo starting on the non-football injury list. Before we bash the hell out of the strength and conditioning team, understand the non-football injury list means that he likely came to camp with a nagging injury. Mike Tomlin did label it as soft tissue. It could be a hamstring. It could be a calf. It could be a shoulder. It could be anything, really. What's your takeaway on both Seumalo starting on the NFI list and also the pressure that this strength and conditioning staff must be feeling in the early stages of camp?
Well, I guess my only thought about Seumalo specifically is at least it's the veteran of the group and not one of the young guys that we need as many reps out of as possible. So, and you get Spencer Anderson more reps, that's fine. And as long as it's not something lingering, right, that's going to last into the season, this is fine so far for what we know. But yeah, I mean the strength and conditioning room, I think they got a little bit, their butt cheeks got a little bit tighter when they got that news coming in, because it's like, we as fans, we don't know where that comes from, right? We don't know what that is caused by or whatever. So naturally, after the issues last year, you start to make correlations and connections. And the Steelers made it a point to overhaul their strength and conditioning staff last year. And the early returns have not been so great. But hopefully we've got lessons learned. It seems like everybody else is relatively healthy, but and I believe Alan Saunders wrote an article about this for his company, Steelers Now. I think it's, something that people are watching is like, is this team going to be healthier this year? Did the coaching or the training staff take some of the issues last season with the soft tissue injuries to Hart, and did they make some adjustments? So we'll see as it plays out throughout the rest of training camp. But for now, let's hold our breath and just see. I don't know what else there is to do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is a two-pronged situation and issue. The players have a responsibility to do their part. Yes. And that is to come into camp in tip-top shape. You have, 6 weeks almost? Like almost 6 weeks between mini camp, OTAs end, and then they come into training camp. The strength and conditioning staff might be saying, hey, here's some workouts I want you to do. I'll be touching base, see how things are going, but they're not with them physically. So Isaac Seumalo's injury, unless it happened 6 weeks ago, it's on him.
Yeah.
Now, I do have questions about, you talk about soft tissue injuries and can the strength and conditioning staff do anything about that? The answer is yes. And a lot of the issues that happened during the season has me questioning what does their regimen look like in season. And a lot of times people think they train, and then the season comes and they just don't train as much because they don't want to get hurt. The training should shift.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now it's more injury prevention stuff, maintaining, keeping them at top level fitness and mobility and all those different things that are going to be essential to keeping a team healthy. There's pressure going to be big time on this group. Like you said, heading into 2024, they overhauled their strength and conditioning staff. Not great returns. But like you said, Mike Tomlin said that everyone else was in attendance. Yep. Everyone else was healthy. That's a good 2 thumbs up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would just point to actually something that TJ Watt said in his media availability, where he was talking about why he didn't show up throughout the summer. And it was basically, I've got my own strength and conditioning regimen. I've got my own trainers. I do my own thing. And, I share that with the team. They're confident in me. So, Isaac Seumalo is a veteran. He played in Philadelphia for several seasons before here. He probably has a very similar setup. So this probably isn't on the Steelers training staff. It probably is more on him, like you mentioned. And I just think that I very much agree. These guys are professionals. They know what's expected of them, and their bodies are their tool in this job, and you have to keep it clean. So the conditioning team has to do a better job in season. They have to do a better job with the fitness tests or whatever it was, right. The conditioning test that gets you in. But other than that, these players got to watch out for themselves.
Well, and also you keep in mind, a lot of people are wondering, well, how long is he going to be out? And this isn't, a certain set number of weeks, days, whatever that he has to be out. Yeah. He could come back next week. And this could be he shows up to camp, my left hamstring's just a little tight. And Mike Tomlin, if he's smart, says, dude, just wait till it's right. All right, but there's no reason for you to go out there and push it. Not when we're doing non-padded practice for the first 4 or 5 days. Like, just take your time, ease your way back in. Like you said earlier, if there's one player that they just don't need to worry about on the offensive line, it's probably him from an experience standpoint. Yeah. But you don't want to have what happened last year. He started with that pec injury, missed the first 4 games, and he just never seemed to get back into it. Yeah. But let's go back to the Steelers reporting on Wednesday. Were there any surprises for you as it pertains to the players showing up? Anything that was said, anything that was done, anything that didn't happen? Any surprises for you?
Not necessarily. I do think that it's intriguing, the Juan Thornhill conversations that he had. That maybe stood out to me. Not necessarily surprising, but stood out to me that he's out there. He doesn't beat around the bush. He has a very forward way of talking. He was talking about production. He was talking about his tape and a lot of the conversation around him, and he thinks he's got a lot to prove, and there's gonna be a lot of eyes on him because Minkah Fitzpatrick was an all-star here in Pittsburgh, and he is the direct guy in line to replace Minkah, and Thornhill's gonna have to show that he can be viable on the back end as a starter at this point based on what the Steelers have in that back room, and or in that defensive back room. And if he cannot hold up, then scrutiny over the addition of Thornhill and the trade of Minkah are going to come to the forefront of a lot of Steelers fans' minds. So I think Thornhill has the chops to be able to be an impact player. I would also expect there to be some growing pains when it comes to the communication on the back end. But seeing that he's not going to beat around the bush, that he's kind of own his role and be vocal in the back end, I think that's going to help out the Steelers. He's not a quiet guy. He's not going to be a behind-the-scenes guy. He's going to be a vocal guy. So a lot rides on him in that room, and that stood out to me.
Yeah, for sure. I also thought it was interesting, like DK Metcalf literally just blew right by the reporters. Oh, yeah. Not saying a freaking word. He didn't even smile. Like, he just was like, I'm not here to talk to you. I just want to go and do my job. I'm fine with that. I'm totally okay with that. I also noticed there was no Aaron Rodgers showing up. Yeah. He's there, but he must have been snuck somewhere on campus. They got him a Malibu probably, and he snuck into the back door like he did when he was visiting Pittsburgh the last time.
Yeah, scooted in.
I didn't see, did Cam go through the media throng? Did you notice?
I didn't notice him either. Obviously the other defensive linemen like Keanu Benton and Derek Harmon, the D-Harm talk all started with his arrival. So, but no, I didn't notice Cam. I just thinking through it, there were a few guys, and I was at work all day yesterday, and we're trying to catch up on some of these things on social media and everything. Yeah. But I mean, Cam may have had a podcast. I don't know. He did tweet. He did tweet, right? The hardest thing about going to camp is saying goodbye to his kids. So he's obviously there. He's obviously doing stuff, but I didn't see him either. So.
Yeah, and I'll ask you this: do you miss the days of Brett Kiesel showing up in a tractor, James Harrison showing up in a fire truck, Antonio Brown showing up in a Rolls Royce or anything? Do you miss those days, or do you just kind of like, hey, I like the way it is right now?
See, I am not one of I'm not one of the old man shakes fist at cloud Steelers fans that's like, no, straight to business, straight to work. I talk all the time on social media. I like creativity. If they wanted to dome their stadium, I'd be fine with that. If they show up crazy and their talking point and their headline making, that's fine with me. So yeah, I do kind of miss those days where the big personalities came in their aura defining rides, whatever you want to call it these days. So yeah, I do kind of miss some of the pageantry of previous Steeler iterations coming in.
Well, the only difference is that those players, not Antonio Brown, but the other players, they had won a championship.
Yeah.
You win a ring, you could show up in a clown car for all I care. Yeah. But until you win one, let's just shut up and go to work. Let's leave the pageantry. And they have. The only player I do miss was when Vince Williams rolled up with the Stone Cold Steve Austin vest, and he was that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But I want to talk. Okay, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I was just gonna say it does seem like the more personalities diversify in like the young players coming in, the more they kind of actually aren't different than each other. It's weird. To me, there were bigger personalities in the 2000s and the 2010s than we're seeing today on the field.
Yeah, you're right. I want to talk to you about the jersey. I know that you're very vocal on social media. I mean, gosh, you got the blue check and the FFSN badge, and now you're just tweeting like it's your job. But anyways, You are just a huge component of these jerseys. You even had AI-generated canary yellow jerseys, which made me want to vomit. But I don't know if you heard my take on the jerseys on Wednesday's Let's Ride podcast, but I want to let you say why you like them, and then we'll talk about why they actually do suck in reality. So go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I didn't like every aspect of them, right?
Okay, that's good, because some of it was awful.
Yes, the pants were ridiculous. Get that out of here. But like the jerseys, I was totally fine with. I think it's a good callback. Maybe they should have let the stripes go all the way down. Whatever. It's a nice callback, and I like the city crest on there. I like the massive numbers in the front. I like the fact that it's different on the front than in the back, and it's just very plain in the back. It's cool. It's like we're gonna come at you full force. But when we're walking away, you don't have to worry about us. And so I like that. But the helmet, Jeff, I mean, the helmet makes it all worth it, right? The helmet's immaculate.
Great. I will say the helmet's good.
Helmet. If they wore that helmet as their primary helmet for the rest of time, I would be fine with that. But
I'm not going to go that far. It's nice, but it's not that good.
Sure. Okay. My tweak would be not black pants. Yellow, the gold pants. I need an all gold uniform, Jeff. I've been fighting for this all offseason. I need an all gold uniform. Give it to me. I want them to look like a bunch of terrible towels running out on the field. That's all I want.
No.
They won't give it to us.
For the love of God, no. Like, seriously, I think the worst thing about the jerseys, because the pants are awful. They were awful with the Bumblebees. They're going to be awful with this one, too. I think that the numbers on the back being so plain, if they were even outlined with white piping, so they switched them. So the front is white outlined in black. If it was black outlined in white, I'd be like, okay, they're kind of doing a little, front and back thing. It looks like a high school's JV team when you see these players from the backside. It's like, okay, this is an NFL team. This is an NFL jersey. Can't be taken seriously. You see, I don't mind the lines. I don't mind the crest in the corner. All that stuff is whatever. The numbers on the front are cool. The fact that it's different on the back is just absolutely idiotic. And here's the question I have for you. Why do we have such a need, or you especially have a desire to change what I think is a really traditional and a really great uniform with the alternative of like a color rush, which is also very awesome? Why do we feel the need to have an all yellow, terrible towel uniform? I just don't get it.
Well, I just think that for me, it is engagement. It's cool. I don't know. Whenever I look at like some of my favorite teams, I look at the Ohio State Buckeyes. I love their uniform mixes and matches that they do at the college level, and the Chargers. They do an awesome job with their uniforms. I really believe so. The Steelers have always just kind of been, this is what we wear, and we're not changing that. And I just think you need a little more life than that sometimes. So maybe it's growing up playing. Did you play Madden, Jeff, growing up? No. Maybe it's growing up playing Madden.
I played Tecmo Bowl. I played Tecmo Bowl.
What's that? Tecmo? No, I'm just kidding. I know.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Yes, I know what Tecmo Bowl is. Okay. No, maybe it's playing Madden and just, every week in Madden you change the uniform on the screen just because you can, and that's what's fun. So maybe that's what played into it. I think that the Steelers have the best regular uniform in the NFL, so I love it. But change-ups are cool. On a Sunday night football game, why not have a different jersey every now and then? Throw back to the heritage, reach out into the future a little bit. I think the Steelers should do like a City Connect type thing, like the Pirates did with like the actual the plated metal look on their uniforms or something like that. It'd be cool.
This is to me a City Connect jersey.
It's
because
close,
it's not the 1933 uniform. The 1933 uniform, the crest was huge on the chest. And then the number was small in the corner. Go back to 1994. Look up a picture of Barry Foster or Rod Woodson on those games at Three River Stadium. That was the 1933. This is not. This is like an ode to the heritage.
It's and like that's why Jeff, the pants didn't make sense, right?
No, I get
that. That's why
that.
The pants didn't make sense.
It's an alternate. This is not a throwback. If they call it a throwback, it's not a throwback. A throwback would be, let's do the Batman wing with the shoulders that are gold with the black. That's a throwback, that'd be cool. And that would have looked really cool. There's other options too with the white jersey with the gold shoulders. Same with the black. That was worn around 1960. I did a whole article for SteelCurtainNetwork.com about the options that they had. And I guess when they unveiled it, I'm like, this isn't even like really, it's not even really a throwback uniform. It's just odd. I don't know. But all right, good stuff, Jeremy. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, even you. So what did you have coming up for the website and on the podcast side?
Well, lots of opinions coming out from the Betz on podcasts and social media and the website. But I'm pumping out some stuff as a part of the Training Camp Confidential we're trying to put out there for all the news and notes you need. So check out my predictions of some of the big camp battles. Doing offense first, defense shortly to follow as the guys get into those battles. And there's a few intriguing ones. I did notice kind of, Jeff, just as a preview of it, there's more like depth battles this year than actual starter battles than maybe I've paid attention to in the past. Maybe that's just me missing it, but not as many like who's the one battle in for the offense at least here, and I'll get to the defense, but that was an intriguing view for me. And then on the podcast side of things, we're revving up prediction season for everything on the Steelers Fix and on the Draft Dynasty podcast. Got a lot to cover on those, so stay tuned there. Steelers Q&A is live on Sundays still until the games start, so check that out. And then follow me on X at @thebetz93. We'll keep it rolling.
All right, Jeremy. Thanks for your time, man. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk about actual practice next week. Take it easy.
Have a good one, Jeff.
See ya.